Look now at some of the disinformation stories that we've seen this week. You know how many lies there are during a time of a pandemic and during the time of an election. Nomshado Lubisi from Monitoring Afrika joins us now to look at just the three top pieces of misinformation in the last week. Nomshado, good afternoon to you. I mean, vaccination cards for sale again. We see this time and time again. The idea, false as it happens, that you can buy a vaccination card.
I mean, I'd say this is around 2, 3, 4. I think we've really lost count. However, they've really become bolder. I mean, now they are starting to use, verified ticks as their profile pictures so that, when a user is scrolling down their feed, it's next to their name and it actually looks like, they are verified. And this is in the hope, to persuade or allude to the fact that they can be trustworthy and credible, whereas in actual sense, it's illegal, unethical, and really quite dangerous. And by people feeding into this, they are also legitimizing them and broadening, the corruption at hand and also undermining our public system. And also, it's indirectly feeding into the anti-vaccine beliefs that we've been seeing going around. So rather, as I've said the previous weeks, to save themselves from being ripped off, and rather go get vaccinated and get the card for free.
Well, yes, and I mean, if you undermine this effort, if you do it like this, I mean, you're going to have situations where if you want to travel to another country, you're going to have to go through their vaccination process because they won't trust our vaccination certificate.
No, not at all. And it shows you, how it can actually amplify even further in the future. So you might be saving yourself now, but remember, in actual sense, this is a certificate that's supposed to be used when you're traveling or for any other instances as well. So in actual sense, you're implicating yourself.
You talk about vaccine hesitancy and you talk about bots. Now, these are fake accounts generally on Twitter. They're in other social media as well. I mean, these seem to be getting more and more sophisticated. I hate these things because they claim to be an individual, an actual person, and they actually aren't.
They really aren't. So they're actually software controlled, and they're usually used to engage in tweets not even only Twitter, but by retweeting or posting or replying to what other users are saying. And they vary in sophistication, as you said. So some really lack that human touch, while, others have really mastered the skills to come across as human. But I need to add this. We need to remember that not all bots are actually quite bad. So they can actually help, to raise awareness on certain societal issues. But in the context of this information, they really just serve to amplify content that is really, created by, I would like to say, some dodgy people. And, a piece by the NPR just literally found 12. And you can imagine in that 12 how much content is coming out, because we're not talking about human minutes. We're talking about seconds of content continuously being posted all the time, retweeted, whether it's links, etc. And it's going back again to looking at the source of information, not taking it at first hand. So double checking with what, media entities are saying, because at the same time, as you said, it's quite difficult to be able to, spot is this a real person behind this account or not.
And then fake ballot papers. I mean, Nomshado, who has the time, the energy, and why? It does, of course, undermine the legitimacy of the election when people do this.
So you actually might find that, it was just a genuine way of trying to show people, which party to vote for by showing them the ballot paper. I mean, maybe it can be a marketing strategy, but by doing so, it's allowing, an opportunity for the bad actors, to use it as a harmful agenda and manipulate people. So even though we know that the final ballot papers have not been printed, but if an ordinary citizen just comes across it online and it literally has all the logos at the right places and the party names and everything, it can really, really cause damage.
Nomshado Lubisi, thanks very much indeed at Monitoring Afrika. I really appreciate the time today. So